A very good evening to all. It's time for children's bedtime treasury with Let Emotions Speak. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my channel for more bedtime stories each night. Today's story is about Little Tim and his brother Sam. Little Tim was a very lucky boy. He had a lovely home with the nicest parents you could hope for. He had a big garden with a swing and a football net in it. And growing in the garden were lots of trees that you can climb and have adventures in. Little Tim even had a nice school, which he enjoyed going to every day and where he had lots of friends. In fact, almost everything in Tim's life was nice. Everything that is apart from one thing. Tim's brother Sam. Sam was a very naughty boy. Worse still, whenever he got into mischief, which he did almost most of the time, he managed to make it look as though someone else was to blame. And that someone was usually poor Tim. Once, Sam thought he would put salt in the sugar bowl instead of sugar. That afternoon, Sam and Tim's parents had some friends round for tea. All the guests put salt in their cups of tea, of course, thinking it was sugar. Well, being very polite, they didn't like to say anything, even though their cups of tea tasted very strange indeed. When Sam and Tim's parents tasted their tea, however, they guessed immediately that someone had been playing a trick. They had to apologize to their guests and make them all fresh cups of tea. And who got the blame? Little Tim did. Because Sam had sprinkled salt on Tim's bedroom floor so that their mother would think that Tim was the culprit. Another time, Sam and Tim were playing football in the garden when Sam accidentally kicked the ball against a window and broke it. Sam immediately ran away and hid, so that when their father came out to investigate, only Tim was to be seen. So poor little Tim got the blame again. Then there was the time when Sam and Tim's Aunt Jessica came to stay. She was a very nice lady, but she hated anything creepy or crawly. And so, as far as she was concerned, that included frogs. So what did Sam do? Why, he went down to the garden pond and got a big green frog to put in Aunt Jessica's handbag. When Aunt Jessica opened her handbag to get her glasses out, there, staring out of the bag at her, were two froggy eyes. "Croak," said the frog. "Eek!" yelled Aunt Jessica and almost jumped out of her skin. "I told Tim not to do it," said Sam. Tim opened his mouth and was just about to protest his innocence when his mother said, "Tim, go to your room immediately and don't come out until you are told to." Poor Tim went to his room and had to stay there until after supper. Sam thought it was very funny. The next day, Sam decided that he would play another prank and blame it on Tim. He went to the garden shed and one by one took out all the garden tools. When he thought no one was watching, he hid them all in Tim's bedroom cupboard. In went the spade, the fork, the watering can, the trowel, in fact everything except the lawn mower. And the only reason that the lawn mower didn't go in was because it was too heavy to carry. But this time, Sam's little prank was about to come unstuck, for Aunt Jessica had seen him creeping up the stairs to Tim's bedroom with the garden tools. She guessed immediately what Sam was up to and who was likely to get the blame. When Sam wasn't about, she spoke to Tim. The two of them whispered to each other for a few seconds and then smiled triumphantly. Later that day, Sam and Tim's father went to the garden shed to do some gardening. Imagine his surprise when all he saw was some old flower pots and the lawn mower. He searched high and low for the garden tools. He looked behind the compost heap, under the garden steps, behind the sandpit, and in the garage. But they weren't anywhere to be seen. Then he started searching in the house. He looked in the kitchen cupboard and was just looking under the stairs when something at the top of the stairs caught his eye. The handle from the garden spade was sticking out of the door to Sam's bedroom. Looking rather puzzled, he went upstairs and walked into Sam's bedroom. There, nestling neatly in the cupboard, were the rest of the tools. "Sam, come up here immediately," called his father. Sam, not realizing anything was amiss, came sauntering upstairs. Suddenly, he saw all the garden tools that he had so carefully hidden in Tim's cupboard now sitting in his cupboard. He was speechless. "Right," said his father. "Before you go out to play, you can take all the tools back down to the garden shed. Then you can cut the grass. Then you can dig over the flower beds. And then you can do the weeding." Well, it took Sam hours to do all the gardening. Tim and Aunt Jessica watched from the window and clutched their sides with laughter. Sam never did find out how all the garden tools found their way into his bedroom. But I think you've guessed it, haven't you? So I hope you enjoyed this story. Do let me know in the comments below. It's time to say goodbye and good night.